What's happening? B-12.
So listen, first off, I got to start as a fanboy. I always tell people, like, they go, from especially the Bayside days, they be like, B-12, you must know all these people. Let me tell you something. All these people that I put out at Bayside or had the privilege of working with when I was a street promoter, I was a fan of them first. Exactly. And no exception to that rule is the legendary Herm Lewis I'm from his neighborhood, let's be clear, who, when I was just a little kid on Oakdale, he was already riding around with nice chains and silk shirts and all of that.
Right.
But because our generations are different, I never got to work with Herm until, I got to be around him during the 11-5 days when I was carrying bags, but I had the honor of distributing your music.
That was beautiful.
We had a really good run.
Yeah, we did.
And when you entrusted me with that, that allowed others to entrust me with. So I'll give you your flowers and thank you. You've always been a leader for us. So this is where we're at with this. Trying to survive in the ghetto. It's the 30-year anniversary.
30 years.
So can you believe, so they claim in hip hop is 50.
Right.
Which may or may not be true, but I understand that that's a reasonable number. Can you believe you've been a part of hip hop for 30 years of that?
Man, I never even tripped on it like that, but that's a privilege to be to know that I have been a part of hip hop. I have contributed to the culture.
Big time.
For 30 years.
And now I'll take it a step further. Before you ever put out music, you was a fan of it, I'm sure.
Yep.
I'm sure you was playing music.
Yep.
I'm sure when you was out clubbing and in the streets, there was a soundtrack to your life.
Right.
So this music is an indelible part of our culture and the makeup of our DNA. So I want to first say that trying to survive in the ghetto, you may not have created the compilation. Now that's up for debate.
Right.
Because I think you did. But the compilation that it became, you are the forefather of that.
Right.
There would have never been a D-Shot Boss Ballin'. There'd have never been a Master P West Coast Bad Boys 1 or 2 or a Down South Hustlers Banging and Swanging or whatever that was called. Because what you did for us, even those of us who weren't yet in music, because I wasn't in music yet, I would come a couple years later, but you said, hey, it's possible.
Yeah. I had some cash that was illegally hustled.
Yep.
And after the RBL album,
which was an incredible movement for all of us.
And they put me on that intro.
Yep.
And the feedback that I got from the positive message, that right there, after the album dropped, I ended up going to jail. I went to jail the day the album dropped. I turned myself in.
So now, was this pen time, or you just had to go to
county time.
Back to 850?
Yeah, it was county time. Okay. And then, but once I was in jail, I was getting all this feedback. So when I got out, I had like 10,000 put to the side from hustling. Yeah. So I said, I'm finna invest this. I'm finna do some music. And I said, I'm gonna do a spoken word. That was the initial idea.
Right.
But then Mr. C and Black Chris said, well, let us put a song on there. I'm like, okay, how you gonna tell them no?
Right.
When they the hottest thing on the block.
Hear you.
And then after that, Forte came up on the block. He said, I want to be on it. Then we got Cool Nut, and that's how it all materialized.
Wow.
And
so them songs, so that was gonna be one of the questions. How much of the music was made for the compilation, and how much was already created and they contributed it? So you already said, I know I Got My 9 existed already.
No.
Oh, it didn't?
None of that. None of that music existed. It was just like this. I'm on the block.
Yep.
Chris on the block. Just like Jeff just walked up, Forte pulls up.
This all happening on Harbor?
Yeah, on Harbor. Forte pulls up like, hey man, let me get on there too. No money, talk
so
to
Call
that.
It What You Want To by Forte.
Yeah.
He went and made that for this.
Yeah. So and then as we got to conversating up on Harbor, Forte said, man, we can't do a compilation without JT the Bigger Figure. That's when he was out, with the game recognized game stuff. And I'm like, okay, let's get him.
So I'm gonna stop you. because what we want the fans to be able to follow along geographically too.
Okay.
Did you already know Fig?
I didn't know JT the bigger figure.
Because obviously you knew everyone in our neighborhood.
I knew everyone in our neighborhood.
Because you was the big homie.
Yeah.
But you knew of Fig, but you had friends over there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Your age group.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I had friends all over.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to be able to travel to every set.
Yep.
You know, because I was loved by everybody. So it wasn't never no restrictions on me pulling up in Fillmore, pulling up in Sunnydale, any of the projects. So I just pulled up on JT actually at the skating ring. And then they say, well, hey man, we can't do this without Cool Nut. May he rest in peace.
Bless him.
And
now was Nut, a lot of people don't know, Nut used to live in All Hallows behind us on the Dale. Was he living in HB at that time?
No, he was staying in Lakeview.
He was in Lakeview.
He was in Lakeview, and Cool Nut had that Scandalous.
It was huge.
That song was real
We
big.
were still playing it then, and it was 4 years old.
Yeah, it was real big. So, you know, that's how, I didn't know him neither until.
You didn't know Cool Nut?
Nah, I had listened to his music, but I didn't know him.
Who would have been your contemporary from Lakeview at that time, your age group? Because Nut would be a little younger than you.
Yeah, Cool Nut would be a little younger.
Who was your, like,
let's see,
homie you would have functioned with back then?
Well, you know, Joe Belfry.
Okay.
Dean May.
Okay, I know both the names.
Them guys, City Ballers.
Yep.
You know, and then my homeboy named Anthony. You know, he was somebody that used to be over there like on the Randolph block.
Right.
But
that's pretty cool.
You know, I was always flexible. You know, the age, they was a little younger than me.
Yeah.
But I always considered myself in that same age bracket.
Well, because you were always current.
Yeah.
You was always current.
Right. So, you know, it wasn't a problem hooking up with Cool Nut.
That's pretty cool.
Selsky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just materialized. That's how it materialized.
That's what's up. So the city, San Francisco was in a beginnings of a gang war in those days.
Right.
Well, depending on who you ask, it was already been a gang war for years.
Yeah.
But your trying to survive in the ghetto was unique because, well, you just hit on it. You could go anywhere. But did you think, knowing that you had, you know, the black socialistic attitude and the unity attitude, did you know that you were going to unite the neighborhoods with that record?
Well,
did you mean to?
I meant to unite the neighborhood and sort of like demonstrate to the young homies, like, man, if we do it this way, man, we can all get some money.
Right.
We can all be at a picnic. We can all kick it and chill.
Right.
If we can come together without killing each other.
Right.
So that was my objective, but I didn't expect for the thing to just take off. All our expectations was very, very low. It was just, hey, we're gonna put Herm putting out an album.
How many did you manufacture right out the gate? Just so
1,000,
we won't,
1,000.
The minimum. Rainbow Records.
Yeah, Rainbow Records.
1,000 cassettes probably.
Cassettes, 1,000 cassettes. It wasn't even CDs.
Yeah, and then the CD would come a little bit later.
Yeah.
Because I did eventually buy it on CD.
Yeah.
In Music by Mail when I was in YA.
Right. Yeah, it was 1,000 cassettes, and
so someone can understand, because it's such a different music business now. You got these 1,000 tapes. Where are you gonna tape? Where are you gonna take them?
You know, I'm following everybody else's example. I'm following E40 example.
Mm-hmm.
Out the Trunk, Too Short, listening to their music and acquiring the knowledge that they were spitting, do it out the trunk. So I started selling them out the trunk. And then I went down to 3rd Street
to
the record store.
Yeah.
Record store.
Yep.
Gave them so many, like 20 of them on consignment. The next day they called me back. And then what really gave me the confidence and the enthusiasm is when I went to Creative Music.
Joe and Elba, rest in peace, Joe.
Rest in peace, man. I went over there to Creative Music, and he said, young man, you got a nice album. People was asking about it. I want 100 of them. And wrote me the check. I left them out of there sky high. And
that was worth about $500 for them days.
Yeah, that was big. So that right there gave me the confidence. And then after that, you know, It just kept on selling. What's the lady name that was working at Rainbow? Was it Violet? What's her name?
No, Violet was at Warehouse.
Yeah.
But you talking about? I remember Jim from Rainbow.
The lady, she was a lady.
Hilda worked at Rainbow.
I forgot her name.
Yeah.
She was real cool, and she told me, say, hey, your album is selling a lot, you know, and at this time, distributors is reaching out to me.
Right.
And I couldn't keep up.
Right.
I couldn't keep up. I had some money, but now the CDs is out.
Right.
So that she told me, she say, we'll press up the CDs for you, and we'll press up 5,000 cassettes and give them to you on consignment.
Rainbow did.
Yeah.
That's how you know you was booming.
Yeah. And they sold through, and I gave her money, and after that, I just kept on rolling. I forgot the lady name.
For people who don't know, Rainbow Records was where everybody, I mean, all around the country, but specifically in the West Coast,
right.
we manufactured our cassettes, our CDs, and our vinyl.
Yeah.
And Rainbow went out of business in about 2006 finally.
Right.
And somebody else bought their vinyl. But another purpose of why, as I told you, I'm trying to do this is so we can curate and keep that information for people later.
Okay.
So I got a question. How come nobody from Sunnydale ended up on that record?
You know, I tried to get one artist from Sunnydale, I forgot who it was, and he wasn't not the first one, because actually Sunnydale didn't at the time. They didn't have some rappers.
They didn't quite have albums out yet.
Yeah, but they had Cheddar Man.
Yep,
they
LC.
had Butt Naked Records over there.
Yep, that was Ghetto Soldier.
Yeah, but
Benetti and them.
Right. But I just didn't get a chance to get them on the album.
And I think Creeper would come up a little later.
Right. And then after that, they had a tight artist over there, and I was trying to get with him, but he was working up under Kim Mitchell, and they was working on the record.
Shout out Kim Mitchell.
Yeah, they was working on a deal or something.
Sure.
So we couldn't make it materialize. But it was never no.
No, I never asked you that. That's why I wanted to ask on camera.
Right.
Because you're right. I don't think there was Sunnydale albums out yet.
Right.
So you must have started making a record. If it came out in 93, you must have started it in 92, right?
Yeah.
Did it take you a while to put it together?
No, that's another thing.
Oh.
See, that's another thing. It didn't take me no time because I'm a go-getter.
Yeah.
And once I put my name to something, I'm finna make it happen.
Okay.
So I didn't have any knowledge of the music game.
So you had peaks. Tony Jackson.
Tony Jackson.
I love Tony. That was
yeah.
He was the first person to ever give me a shout out.
Yeah.
You remember when it meant a lot when your name was in credits?
Yeah, that was big.
Now I had been around already several years in music business. I couldn't even get Joe and Chris to give me a shout out. And I worked for them, right?
Right.
Tony Jackson remembered me in the Eye for an Eye album.
Yeah.
Bro, I was carrying the RBL album around like, you see my name, B-12 from Bay Rider.
Right.
How'd you hook up with Tony? For those who don't know, Tony Jackson, legendary manager.
Yeah.
He now does real estate, I
He
think.
real estate and construction.
Construction. But Tony, RBL, Dre Dog, Herm,
Coogna.
Yeah. If it came out of Frisco, if it came out of that whole era, Tony had his hands on it.
Yeah.
How'd you guys connect? Was it through RBL?
I connected with him through RBL. Well, actually through TC.
Okay.
I connected with him through TC and Cold World Hustlers, because he used to be down at the studio.
Yep.
My album coming out. I'm like, man, what do I do now? He said, well, you got to go get it mastered, Rick Lee.
Yeah. Ken Lee.
Yep. We got to go get it mastered.
Yep.
So we go to Ken Lee, get it mastered, sit in there for hella hours. They master it, okay? So that's when he became my manager, my go-to person.
Yeah.
And he was always easy to communicate with.
Very.
And
he was very articulate.
Yeah.
And he was professional.
Yeah.
When I was growing up seeing his name, I would think he was going to be like a hood dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this dude is like.
Oh, yeah.
And that's who I aspired to be like, because I said, oh, he gets a lot done.
Yeah, he was selling like a Russell Simmons. Right. He had that Russell Simmons whole prestige.
Yeah, he did.
And
so I'm going to take you. I'm actually rewinding this, but I want people to understand how important this is and historically significant. The album cover. All right, we got to talk about the album cover.
Okay.
Because nowadays, well, I don't know, some people, they don't there's not a lot of thought that goes into it.
Right.
A lot of thought went into that cover.
Yeah, yeah.
And can you explain, first off, who did the cover? I know who it is. You tell the people. Who shot the cover and who designed it?
You know, actually, man, listen, actually, it wasn't a lot of thought went into it.
Really?
We was just up on Harbor. You know, I knew.
And that was at the basketball steps,
That was
right?
at the basketball court. I knew
Okay.
I was doing. We knew I was doing the cover. I had the photographer, Victor Hall.
Victor Hall.
Okay, he came up on Harbor.
So that's what I was going to ask. He
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah, he was there.
Got
He
it.
came up on Harbor. And we just, dude, Harbor was like this. We always was kicking it with the
Outside,
grill,
yep.
hustling, doing our thing, music.
Harbor
And we-
and Northridge is the connect is right there.
Yeah, and we had the weight pile right there.
And
so I
the
say, man, let's do it on the weight pile.
Okay, what was significant to me is you can't actually see PG&E though.
No, Victor Hall magic.
Right.
Man.
But that's where I was going with the thought.
Yeah.
Nowadays there's a lot of buzzwords in the world, you know, social justice, economic justice.
Uh-huh.
In Hunters Point, we was victims of environmental terrorism,
Yeah,
environmental racism,
yeah.
all of those different terms.
Right.
You meant to do that.
Well,
the
you know,
PG&E on there.
No, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't meant to do it.
Okay.
It just happened. Victor Hall done that.
Okay.
You know,
Shout out to Victor
Hall. Man, Victor Hall took the photo and he moved the PG&E from over there.
Right.
I'm like, man, how's that back there?
But
You
could see how it would seem like because of the platform you had.
Yeah, because of the toxicity,
pollution,
the pollution,
Yeah.
the health issues that PG&E has
Created.
in Hunters Point. And right now, people is sitting back waiting to get compensated for health issues and things of that nature because of that PG&E plant being back there.
Well, you all can thank Herm Lewis for shedding some light on it.
Yeah.
Because they've actually written about it using your artwork.
That's what's up.
So, well, that's cool. That's interesting to know. And Victor Hall, a lot of people don't know. He did Too Short. He did Ant Bank. I mean, Victor Hall was the creme de la creme of
Pooh
Man. Funky as I Wanna Be cover.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah.
So how'd you get Victor Hall to do it? Was that also Tony saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tony Jack said, man, we can go over to Victor Hall. You know, we can get Victor Hall to do the cover. And I'm like, okay. You know, my thing was, I didn't know none of this stuff.
Right.
I didn't know zip. I just had the money. And I was able to speak. That was my whole objective, just to put a message out.
Right.
And I had the money, and so we go over to Victor Hall, we do the photo shoot. But everybody that I got connected with, I'm still cool with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like yourself.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody that I was fortunate to connect with from the music business, I still can reach out to them and still love.
Well, you always did good business.
Yeah, so you know.
I'm gonna read you 11 names.
Okay.
Coincidentally, there's 11 songs on the cover,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And you get to say whatever you want about it. Intro with Herm and One Time.
Oh my goodness. One Time, man. That was the One Time was the legendary group from Hunters Point. They was the Bayview group, you know, like the 112s.
Yeah.
You know, so
Before Nate Dogg.
yeah, before Nate Dogg. They
Yeah.
had that harmony, you
Yeah.
know, and they was from the block. They was hustlers and they was singing their ass off. And then it was me. You know, Stop the Violence.
Straight up.
Stop,
Coming out
stop,
the
stop,
cuts.
stop. Sugar Bear, man, was one of the.
He was young back
He
then.
was young. He was and he was a bad dude.
For sure.
And at the time, he was being nurtured by Black Chris.
Okay.
They was connected like
Right.
this.
Right.
You know, Black Chris had Sugar Bear up under his wing, and Sugar Bear came out with that song, Coming About the Cuts,
Yep.
and the world went crazy. You know.
All right. I Smell Jealousy.
Oh man, that right there put me on the map.
Period.
When Cool Nut said, "Right on, my nigga Herm Lou,"
That was big.
that took my, just like you say, when Tony Jackson put your name in the in the
that was
credits,
for you.
That right there, I was already here as Herm.
Sure.
But when Cool Nut said that with the aggression and the attitude he said, it took my reputation from here to up here.
You was the man
Rest
now.
in peace, Cool Nut.
Rest in peace. Call it what you want.
Call it Rapid Forte, my dog. You know, professional, long perm with the curls. You know, love the women love him. I done seen him sign autographs on females' titties. You know, that was my dude, man, still is.
The Bankster.
Fly Nate the Bankster. Man, hey, he came up on the block that same day when we was all up there chilling. He had just got out the pen. And he pulls up, and we talking, you know, we chopping it up. And he started rapping. This fool rapped for 10 minutes straight.
That's that penitentiary rapping.
Non-stop, flowing. I'm like, man, we got to get you on the album too, Nate. And that's how that happened.
It's like that.
It's like that. That's
Selsky.
Oh my goodness, Selsky with the beat. Oh man, people used to ride around with the beat in the
That
truck.
was one of the slapping
Yeah, that was
songs
one
on
of the
record.
slap. And Selsky, you know, Selsky was young. He always been talented, and he always been out there. You know, we go to Seattle, we went to Canada.
He was there
And
already.
I'm following Selsky around. He's
Period.
taking me to all these different places, you know, all the different record shops. You know, Selsky is real intelligent and real dedicated to the music
To
culture.
his craft,
Yeah,
absolutely. I got my 9.
yeah. Man, I'm telling you, man, RBL, man. You know, it's like that song, with their first album after the controversy and shit with music people.
Yeah, In a Minute Records.
Yeah. You know, their first album that started slowing down.
Yeah.
And the public was like, do they still got it?
And that song proved they did.
And when they came with that song, the public was like, they was hungry. They next album had pre-orders out the building.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because people was convinced that they was even tighter.
Back to the shit.
That's
JT and GLP.
oh man, JT and San Quinn and Demo.
That's right.
They come in the studio, and this is a trip. I gotta say this. They come in the studio, and we standing around just like this. And everybody is hesitant to go. They don't know who the fuck Herm is.
Right.
They know me, but they like, man, how big is this gonna be? What this gonna be?
Right.
JT come in and say, man, I'm running. We'll take that beat right there.
And who did that beat?
TC and the enhancer.
Wow.
They went in there, man, and ripped it. And when they ripped it, San Quinn, JT, they ripped it. And when they done that, everybody in the studio put their folders up and went back home and came back the next day, regrouped, because now they like.
Because they were some lyricists.
It's competitive.
Yeah, very
when
much.
you're in the studio with other artists,
Yeah.
you know, it's a competitive environment. So everybody wanted to, man, everybody had to meet that standard.
Kicking real shit.
Kicking real shit. That was
GRP.
GRP. You know, that was Max Squeezer,
Yep.
Double, and Charvel.
Yeah, Spellski,
Yeah, yeah, and you know that was a good song, and them dudes was from Shoreview,
Yep.
and they was just the homies. Max Squeezer was about his pimping.
Yep.
Velsky was about his hustling and knocking people out, and Double D was the gun packer. You know, and they was about their business.
You only gonna get that here.
Yeah, yeah.
Cold Day in Hell.
Cold day, man. Rest in peace to Rail, man.
I
You know,
got
that,
this.
man, rest in peace to Rail. He was tight. He was, hey, they
Born October 29th, the motherfucking Scorpio.
Oh my goodness. Hey man, he would do. Man, I felt sad when he got killed. Sad when all these dudes get killed. You know, but man, he didn't get an opportunity to shine,
Yeah.
and he was so talented. And the Cold World Hustlers would probably be a bigger group.
For sure.
They would have been a bigger group because he was one of the leaders.
If you'd have never done that, Oakdale had never got on the map. Because that led to 11-5. I mean, I could say it because those are my big homies.
Yeah.
We didn't have a presence in music.
Yeah. And
Even though they had the tape out,
right.
By you putting that on there,
Yeah.
and that was that Above the Law sample.
Yeah. It took everybody, you know,
It was crazy.
And that's the thing. It took everybody to another level.
Praise
you know,
God.
it took everybody to another level. Some individuals, everybody went to another level from that album.
Absolutely.
You know, and Cold World Hustlers, man, they was hot.
Vic was the
Big Vic.
Vic was our general, man.
Yeah,
Vic was the one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna ask 5 real quick
He's
ones.
sick.
He's sick, and rest in peace, of course, Jermaine, man. So, that's pretty much everything about trying to survive in the ghetto. And now they got to go stream it or buy a physical copy from you.
Right.
I got 5 questions, speed roll. These are just one-shot answers.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the compilation. First rapper you ever met?
Oh, damn.
It don't matter under what.
I think I met MC Hammer, LL Cool J.
Okay, all right, that's dope. Closest friendship with a rapper.
RBL.
Yeah, Black Sheep.
Black
for sure.
Sheep.
Yep.
Black Sheep.
I figured that. Here's a good one. Last time you spoke to Master P.
Shit, probably at the Summer Jam in 2010 or something.
Is that right? That recent?
2010. Yeah.
I mean, that's recent,
Yeah,
considering y'all was on the cover of a magazine 28 years ago.
Right. Yeah,
How was that?
It was cool. He was at the he was performing and he gave me a shout out. I'm in the audience. He gave me a shout out. Like, Herm, come up here, man.
That's
brought
crazy.
me on. You know, he came and got me, brought me on stage.
He loved you,
chopped it
man.
up. Yeah,
He loved you.
that's my dude, man.
Twofold question. It's your favorite Bay rapper, and then it's your favorite rapper overall. I know I gotta do it to you, Herm.
Bay rapper. I gotta go with 40, E40.
Okay. Now your favorite rapper of all time.
I'm gonna go with I gotta go with Tupac. Rest in peace,
Okay,
man.
all right. And finally, this is for the youngsters. Rap money or street money?
Rap money. I gotta elaborate.
Please.
Rap money, street money, man. Hey, man, you gonna go to jail eventually. You know, and you know, if you can take your street money and invest it into the rap money, to the rap game, and bubble, that's what you want to do. You know, and yeah, this guy's rap money. Especially if you having fun. If you got a good team around you, and my thing, if you got a good team around you, and you can be the executive, you can be the guy, and you can say, hey, I need you to do this. Mm-hmm. Hey, you got a autograph signing over here.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to be in the studio at this time. That's what I want to do. So, you know, it's different because there's different levels to the rap game.
For sure.
Like, and that's the thing. It's like with RBL, just like you say, you carried the bags.
Yeah.
Dude, I carried the bags.
The big homie.
And didn't have a problem.
Because we was just glad to be there.
In the company.
Yeah.
You know, I brought the weed and all the shit.
Yeah.
Man, that was my position.
Right.
You know, and I still do that today because of the love I have for Black Chris, and because of the dedication that he have to his craft, and the love that we have, man. I'm his big homie, and it's always been respectful.
Well, I ended it with that question because you've always been on that rap money or street money. Mm-hmm. You're living proof that somebody can get up out from it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Herm, thank you for being so candid. I didn't expect some of those answers. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Now they gonna get to hear about trying to survive in the ghetto.
From a different perspective.
Yeah, salute all the compilations that came after. But if you go Google it, it's the one that set the stage and made it possible for everybody after. Hell, 4 years later, I put out the Bay Riders comp and did well because somebody knew the term compilation now.
Yeah.
So right on.
Right. Hey, I didn't even know what a compilation meant when I first done it.
Well, now it's a mixtape. It's everything
it's
now,
everything.
right?
It's
but
mixtape, compilation. Yeah, but I am the compilation originator.
That's right.
Herm Lewis. Know that. Yep. That's him.
And we're gonna
I want to give a shout out to my nephew Larry June.
Oh yes.
Doing numbers.
Big numbers.
Doing numbers.
He saved
worldwide.
the Bay. He saved the Bay.
And keep pushing. Keep going. One love to everybody that's watching this. All the artists that I ever worked with. It's all love. Peace. One love. Power to the people.